morning, our dear audience. Welcome to our morning show. We all know about the war in Iraq and the human crisis in war zones. But when you work there, it's a different story. Today we have Mr. Mohammed Mujahid, one of our Egyptian heroes who has been working for 1 year as a communication officer at the United Nations Population Fund in Iraq, to tell us about things that we don't hear in the news. First of all, thank you, Mr. Mujahid, for coming to our show.
Thank you, Ranim, for having me. Pleasure.
Tell us about your experience there in Iraq. How did you travel first?
So basically, I joined the UN in 2008. I worked for UNICEF Egypt for 4 years. Then I moved to the United Nations Population Fund as a communication officer, also in Egypt. And then they started offering short missions for young professionals to go to war zones. So I was interested to join, to get the experience of war and understand the kind of dynamics that the war offers there. So I went on mission for 3 months, and then I liked the kind of work that we do, so I decided to join them.
So what kind of work do you do there?
So basically, I'm the communication officer. What I usually do there is I do a wide range of activities, including writing press releases, arranging field visits for media and journalists, preparing campaigns, like behavioral change campaigns. We also do, the communication part, we also help the local communities, whether inside the humanitarian situation, like in camps, or in local settings, to facilitate the entry of their basic needs, including the basic women needs.
How did the long war in Iraq affect the people there, or their attitude, the humanitarian situation?
Basically, people, it's a very dire situation. Iraq is considered one of the most complex humanitarian situation. You can see a lot of grief and a lot of pain in the lives of people, but also you can see a lot of resilience and resistance. People are trying to cope with the situation, and they are trying to be more looking forward towards the future for the post-ISIS era. So it's a mix between the very tiring situation of war and people looking forward to the very near end of war to start their new lives.
So tell us about the United Nations Population Fund. How was it different from working in the same organization in Egypt and in Iraq?
So basically, Egypt is a development country. You have a stable situation where our main focus is on what we call behavioral change campaigns or activities, interventions. In the sense of, we have issues like sexual harassment, for example, where we start doing campaigns in the street, like the Teh Marbuta campaign. We do campaigns targeting the local communities to change behaviors, and it's more of a long-term intervention. While in Iraq, it's more of a humanitarian situation. So the kind of interventions we provide is what we call frontline emergency interventions, which is basically to meet first the basic needs of the whether the internally displaced populations or the refugees, and then we start focusing on the behavioral issues. But the main activities that we do are more related to meeting the basic needs of people.
So how did the war or the situation in Iraq affect you as a person?
It helps you to grow in the sense of realizing that you see a different perspective of the kind of work you signed in for. So basically, when I was working here in Egypt, I really enjoyed what I was doing, but it was more focused on campaigns. It was you can take your time, prepare your work and such. But in a war situation, You need to be there all the time, ready to do your interventions. For a communication person like me, I should always be ready if there is a, like if the word, like now the west of Mosul retaking interventions, military operations are going on, so I should be ready and able to issue press releases, prepare to cater for the media needs and such. So it's more of a different dynamics on a professional level, and of course personally, when you be there and see the challenges that the people go through while they are in such dire humanitarian need, it helps you to it gives you a different perspective about war rather than seeing it on TV or hearing about it from the news. You are there, you see what's going on the ground.
Yeah. So tell us about your social life there. How is it? Do you go out like here or what? Tell us about it.
So basically, of course, in any community, people adapt. So like most of the humanitarian workers there, their main goal or aim is to help the people. Our social or personal lives comes second, but yet we try to cope with the situation. So there are gatherings, we celebrate like international holidays, like the New Year, for example. We also try to bring these kind of celebrations or events or activities sometimes with us to the field in the camps and such, to be around the people. But like, of course, it's not like living in a city where everything is peaceful and there is no war. It's a kind of a different orientation or situation.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Mohammed Magahid, for coming to our show. I really enjoyed your input. Thank you, our audience, for watching us. See you tomorrow.